of an immigrant is never an easy one. Oftentimes, we leave things that we're familiar with, like family, friends, food, in search of bigger opportunities and pursuing the big dream. Join us today as we share the amazing stories of people who have made that kind of leap. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of the show. Today I have three amazing guests with me. Today we'll be talking to Andrew.
Hi.
Hoshin.
Hi.
And Pooja.
Hi.
They will be sharing with us their beautiful stories of settling into the community and different ways they found to connect. So Pooja, I know you are currently taking a program at the University of Victoria. What has the experience been like for you?
The experience has been really great, and I joined UVic in 2015, September, and I'm doing my master's in computer science here. It was basically my parents, they wanted me to move out of the country because of some situation, and it's not that safe for girls, and I had some one or two personal experiences.
So coming over here for you wasn't just coming for a degree, it was a lot of things, finding solace and building a whole new community.
Yeah.
Okay. And Hoshin, do you have a similar story?
I finished my bachelor degree back home in China, and then I worked a few years, so I decided to come to Canada to seek for a master degree.
Okay, and Andrew?
Basically, my journey to Canada began when I first came here to Canada as a tourist, as a visitor with my family. So we came on a vacation, and that was when I was about to complete my computer engineering degree. Started off an MBA program to be exact, and completed it, and now I'm working as a network administrator.
Oh, that's really interesting. So three people, three different stories. You came in as a tourist.
Yes.
Yes, and for Hoshin, it was just getting that career leap. You'd gotten your degree. You just wanted to get to the next level in your career.
Yeah, exactly.
And for Pooja, it was a combination. Apart from just getting a degree, you also wanted to get away from the unsafe situation back home. Yeah. So Hoshin, what was it like for you when you got here initially? Were there things that things that were very different from the way they were back home, and you needed to get past all of that?
I have to say, when I first landed here, everything's exciting. As my degree told me, when you first land into a complete new culture, you have this honeymoon stage, which I had this honeymoon stage with Canada, and then slowly I moved into this conflict stage that I found there's a lot of differences, and I have to cope with them, and that's just something I have to work on, because I cannot change the culture here, and I cannot change what I was familiar with.
Andrew, what were your initial experiences like?
Yeah, I have to agree with what Hoshin said. It was a honeymoon stage. Obviously, there are a lot of shocks as well. In a positive, not really a negative way. I was born and raised in Malaysia, and where I'm from, the sun rises at 7 and sets at 7. Right. And when I first came here in April, it's like the sun rises at 5 or 6 and sets at like 9 or 8. And I'm like, whoa. When I first landed in Vancouver, I was supposed to go to Kamloops, and when you see it in Google Maps, it's really close, but actually it's really far.
Right.
It's literally like going from north to south of the peninsula of Malaysia. So it's really, that shows you itself the sheer size of Canada. It's a very big country. Traffic, it's the other side of the road, and all those things, because we drive like the British. Everything in Malaysia is done, we want quick go, and a lot of shortcuts taken and stuff. And here everyone is very relaxed, and less shortcuts taken as well.
So before you came here, were there services or resources available for you to prepare you for just adjusting generally?
Now that I have been here for a while, and I've also volunteered for the Immigrant Center in Kamloops, and also now I work for Smart Dolphins, and we work closely with ICA of Victoria. I have learned that there are lots of resources out there. It's just that we are not really aware of that.
Right.
I kind of relied a lot on my school and friends to kind of learn the whereabouts of things.
Was it the same for you?
Yeah, again, I didn't know, about ICA before, and a lot of services are available. And same with Andrew, I also rely a lot on my school. But then I think my host parent were the great help. I think they were the they provide a service that I really needed when I first just came here and adjusting to Canada. And for one very good example, I didn't know how to take the bus here. Oh, on a bus, I put a coin, I was getting the transfer ticket myself. And then the bus driver was mad. I was like, you cannot touch my thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I can't imagine how that played out.
I didn't know that he's supposed to be one who give me the transfer
little
ticket.
things.
I was like, I wanted to get it, and then he was mad. I was, oh, you cannot get a ticket from me. Don't touch my stuff. And I was a bit embarrassed and stuff. And I came home and then told my host parents about it, and they were like, oh, sorry, we didn't told you you have to.
And you see, just the thing with little things making a huge difference.
Yes, exactly.
That said a lot to you. It would have said a lot to me too. Just those kind of little things here and there go a really long way. Yeah, Pooja, what was it like for you tapping into support systems?
So basically, I like doing my research work first. So before coming to Canada, I tried contacting people on Facebook and just because I wanted to contact people who are already living here and they have done that transition. I wanted to know how they feel about it. Right. And some people did not reply, but some replied, and because they were just strangers, so I don't blame them. When I came here, things were a bit different from what I expected, but I had a bit of idea of what I'm going to, face.
What kind of resources, whether on a bigger level or on that personal note, have you found that have inspired you to want to give back to your community?
For now, I can't think of any any example besides personal kind of resources, because I'm more of a personal kind of person.
Pooja, would you say that has been your experience as well?
Yeah, people plus society, there have been so many associations which are, really out there to help international people.
So would you say you found that there are resources in the community that have helped your journey so far?
Yeah, there are a lot of resources available. When I joined school, I found so many associations out there. I didn't know about them, but when I joined in our orientation, they informed us about those associations. We have International Student Association. We have Indian Student Association, and there are a lot of associations which help people and to face that transition.
Yeah, I agree that actually in school there's a lot of help. One time I was volunteering for the school, and then I get to know a lot of faculties in the school, obviously. All these faculties, they were really helpful. They actually asking what kind of job I wanted to do. And then I got my first job in school just because the help with the faculty that I know from a volunteer experience I had in school. So I think the school itself is full of resources and help. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add with that as well, when you say volunteering or even the programs that the school offer, it's to say help you with MSP or taking the bus or to get your schedules for studying and stuff like that, just basic things, but even to have fun, because Canada has a lot to offer.
Just adding to what I'm hearing is there are lots of resources available, and oftentimes we need to just tap into them. We need to be deliberate about looking for them and just making the most of whatever opportunities we can find.
Yeah, there's a lot of services that we did tap into, but I think as a city itself also needs to have a better system to informing these newcomers that there are this kind of service available.
Yes.
Like I didn't know about ICA before I actually started looking for jobs, and I know about this organization. And then after I know they actually provide a lot of services that would be great if I first came here and know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But then when I know about it, it was too late. I already got everything I needed.
Just a bit about service providing agencies. So I'm from a non-profit background. My work has largely been in non-profit work. And then I came here and I heard about VERX, the Victoria Immigrant and Refugee Center, and I thought, I could make a difference here. But I was going there not as someone who was looking for help. I was looking for what I could do to add value, which is what I've often found the case to be for the few people who know that these services are available.
I think part of the reason is also because they rely, especially for international students, I think the government can rely on the school itself to provide these services. because maybe the school cannot do everything.
But something that Andrew mentioned that I would like to dwell on too is what we can do as a body of international students, helping other newcomers too. Like, so for those who have been experienced, like if we have the student associations like we have in UVic, we can have concerted effort from that end to saying to the new students, just like you researched on Facebook and you found people who had been here before. The government does its part, the universities do their part, we do our parts as newcomers, and then existing newcomers too.
Yeah, I think that's the part about contributing back to the community, which is very important. I also agree, not just to your own community, let's say, of your that come from the same background of yours, but also to the other newcomers that maybe had different experience.
And newcomers is also a huge label, because right now we are only discussing about university and students. There's also newcomers that are refugees and also workers as well.
Right. But at what point do you actually integrate? At what point do you say this is home, that I've been able to successfully build a community? Did you get to a point in your journey where you said to yourself, this is home for me?
Yes, for sure. I feel like Victoria is my home. I'm very welcome at work. I work with great people, and I also live in a great neighborhood. I also am very involved in my church as well. So all in all, I feel like this is my home. But at the same time, I feel that I'm Malaysian. My identity as a Malaysian is a part of me and will always be. But Victoria is my home.
Home is where you make it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, home is where you feel welcome, where you feel like you belong. And
When I go travel, I don't look, for differences. I look for similarities. As humans, if we always focus on differences, we're meant, we're meant to be apart.
Similarities is something from two cultures, like say a Nigerian culture versus a Malaysian culture, which is very different. And there are going to be similarities and difference. And it's always key, like what Hoshin said, to be aware of the similarities, but at the same time celebrate the differences.
I mean, as a Nigerian myself, the most part of my experience has been things that happened to me while I was in Nigeria, growing up like that. But coming here too, I had to do some unlearning and relearning and opening my mind to other ways of saying things. I think my ways of saying things are valid, so does the other person. So how do we work together? And I feel that that is something that should be part of every immigrant's journey.
Adding to what you are saying, I like being in Canada, I don't have just Canadian friends, I have friends from all different cultures, and I get to learn so much, and it is so amazing. It's just like I didn't get to know all that when I was with people who were all like you, me. We shared the same culture, and here people with different cultures.
Which I agree with you too about you. When you come to a new place, like, let's say in Canada, you learn about different things about Canada or the people living here. But then also another point I want to point out is you also learn more about yourself. Because when you were in the front line of confronting differences, you reflect on yourself when you had a mirror in front of you, you see more clear of who you are, what you like, what kind of person you are, how you think. And I think that's actually one great takeaway that for myself in Canada, that I learned. I think I've grown as a person in terms of knowing myself better.
Yeah, and just to add from what you said as well, there are going to be times where differences of opinions and ideology or belief will collide, and it's literally the opposite of one another. Similarities is where we had to focus on, and when everything's great and good, life would be boring if everything's the same.
I totally agree. Yeah.
I feel like we could end the show with just that quote. That was a good way of wrapping all of this. But on a final note, I would like to know, are there things that you've learned from here that you would like to see back home? Are there specific changes you would like to make based on the things that you've learned around here?
Yeah, sure. I have I have been planning some things for giving back to the society. I feel more safer here, and I feel that I'm more independent and I can do whatever I want. And I've been planning to take some, help some people out back home with this knowledge, and I'm planning to educate some people through some online portal or something.
You mean young girls?
Yes, young girls. Young girls about this, like how they can like work together towards a safer India or towards a safer world as a whole.
Right. Hoshan, are there things that you would like to, just like Pooja, to see happen in China as well?
Actually, before I was working school as a translator for Chinese students coming for short programs. And I think I don't think I can do much in terms of changing society. But I think as someone who in the education sector and in touch with this, the future generations of Chinese students, I think I can do my part of, helping to educating them with the school, of course, and then to lay, to plant seeds. And when they finish the short-term program and go back to China, they can think differently, see the world differently.
Definitely. Andrew?
Obviously my mindset has changed and my experiences have enriched my thoughts about, how I look at the world and how I, talk to people, treat people and everything. And based on that is what I would share as an experience and also as a thought process to my family at home and friends as well. And hopefully that will make them feel like, Canada's example of inclusion, what we would want to follow suit.
That's incredible. For me, since everybody's being so inspirational, for me, doing things like this, getting to share stories of people doing great and amazing things and making tough decisions, hard decisions, and still being able to make it to the other side, sharing those kind of stories is my way of contributing. And then being an ambassador too. So as I mentioned, I'm from Nigeria, and just representing everyone that has contributed to my being here in some way, being a good example to other newcomers who are looking to make this kind of decisions or who have made this kind of decisions, and just being that model, that is my way of contributing. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared with us today. It's been such an amazing day having this chat with you. I'm sure everyone watching us would agree. We hope that you join us next time as we share even more incredible stories of people finding different ways to connect to this community. It's been such a great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.